Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Bookbind. My name is phoenixrokni. I am the author of The Fall of Magic, Book 1 in the themasterscore series. And in these videos, my goal is to essentially talk and share some sort of behind the scenes elements related to my book, the characters, the people, etc. And today we are talking about something that's been long overdue. So before we begin this discussion, I think it's important that if you haven't read the first book, that you wait and come back to this video once you have. I think moving forward, I'm going to just not be so careful about if I spoil anything, and just be more upfront about this series is for people who have read the first book and the books afterwards. So if you haven't, you probably shouldn't watch these videos yet. In today's video, we're going to talk about Angor and Siam. These are the two small cats, the animal companions loyal to Volir in the Fall of Magic. These two are, in my eyes, proof that even in dark times, a soft paw on your hand might be the truest form of enchantment. Not every figure in the Fall of Magic wields a sword, commands armies, or casts spells. Sometimes the most memorable companions have fur, whiskers, and a knack for being there exactly when they are needed most. Who are Angor and Siam? These two cats are more than just pets. They're companions, guardians, and quiet reminders that even in a world shadowed by war, there's room for warmth and playfulness. Angor is the older and more serious of the two cats. He was the one that Volir found first and took in. He's a bit more combative and mischievous. Siam, by contrast, is curious. He is deeply innocent and always tends to keep a protective eye on Volir. I always think of him, actually both of them, as sort of his little shadows. Together they balance each other out, with one being watchful and gentle and the other being a little more forceful and problematic at times. So when I introduced Angor and Siam into the story, it was partly to give Volir more depth. I did not originally plan on him having two cats. In fact, I didn't ever really think of him having any pets. And then one day as I started writing it, I was like, early on, people might find him a bit unlikable of a character because he's so stoic and guarded. And I think sometimes that sort of person can come off as egotistical or arrogant, especially due to the fact that he is such a strong knight in his order. That a character's relationship with animals often can reveal sides to them that seeing them in battle or in moments of dialogue never really can. And it was for that reason that I found they would show a side of compassion, joy, and lightheartedness. That was sort of why I figured that them being in his life would bring about this capability to show the side of him that you wouldn't otherwise see. His compassion, his joy, even a little bit of lightheartedness. That's very difficult to see early on. And I don't know that you would have seen that early on otherwise. These qualities are intended to obviously blossom later on in the adventure, but not early on. And once I decided that those two were going to be in the story, I then came up with an entire whole evolution for them in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, once I put them in the book, I really decided to just run away with them. You won't get all that right away, especially considering what happens, but later on you will. These cats show that Volir isn't just a figure of strength. He's also someone who values loyalty, gentleness, and companionship. They show that he is someone who feels deeply while striving to keep that part of himself hidden from the world. And that's something that aligns with the secret he carries, the truth of his true identity. So let's talk a little bit about their role in the story. Though they're small in stature, Angor and Siam leave a surprising impact on the story. They're present in moments of rest, reminding him and the reader that life is more than heroes and villains, or scars of strife and sorrow. And sometimes such companions play very unexpected roles, slipping ahead into danger, sensing things before people do, and grounding Volir when shadows grow too heavy. Now, these two keep him from growing too tough. They protect him in a moment of weakness and save him. And their loss is the catalyst to his new beginning, that is change for the better. I think it's important when we talk about these two that you understand that Angor and Siam have character arcs in this series that won't be fully realized until closer to the end. And I assure you, if you have shed tears because of the sad moment related to these two, that you will very likely be shedding very happy ones much later when you realize what their fate truly is. Now, here's a little fun fact about these two. Armite attempted to warn Volir at Avestan, right? Tried to appeal to his true self to accept the call, but he refused. And that was the really big reason that both he and Kairos, Armite and Kairos, looked on, saddened by his decision to go, even when he flew away on the Volgriff. A little known fact about these two is that Angor and Siam were inspired by my two cats that I once had. Their personalities, their quirks, even the way they ignore his instructions or fight with one another, all of those things found their way into the story. Now, here's a secret for the readers paying attention. The bond between Volir and his cats hints at something deeper about his character and about the way that animals connect to magic in the world of Auro. But it's not just that. It's about something that animals in this world are very perceptive and aware of. And it was something he definitely had. Even greater, they are the two creatures whose story doesn't end in this book. So, while Angor and Siam may not wield spells or swords, their presence is still a kind of magic. They remind us that love and comfort are just as vital as Auro Steel and Fire are. So what do you think about Angor and Siam? And what do you think the future holds for the two? Let me know in the comments below. Now, in the next episode of Behind the Bookbind, we'll return to one of Auro's great figures, Valathos Iarethel. He is the leader of the Knights of the Phoenix, and his role is very great, not only in this book, but to the greater story at hand. I'd like to invite all of you that aren't already in our community Discord to hop on in. It's linked down below. We've got that community slowly growing, and we'd be very happy to have you join us. Now, until next time, friends, take care of yourselves, and may the light guide you.